12 months ago, the Melbourne Rebels and the Western Force were locked in a backroom battle for their very existence. They both survived, albeit under very different circumstances. And in an ironic and delicious twist of fate, they meet tonight again, head-to-head in World Series Rugby Game 3. Well, the lights are out, Scotty, but we're here. Good evening, hello, and welcome. This is going to be a cracker. Great to have you with us. The atmosphere amazing. Well, look out, there's fireworks going off, and there may well be fireworks when the game begins. Scotty Favour, one of the Western Force favourite sons, great to have you part of the team, mate.
Mate, it's great to be back. The Sea of Blue are back, Western Force are back. Look at this. This is World Series Rugby. Excited to be here. We've got two teams that are on fire. Western Force have had 2 wins. Rebels have had 3 wins coming to this game. So we're really excited about a big, passionate contest.
Well, something's literally on fire. No, that's okay. That's just the smoke from the fireworks. The dancers are out here. If you've missed it, where have you been? World Series Rugby is absolutely amazing. It is free scoring, it's fast moving, it's full on entertainment. That's what they say, and that's what we'll see when these boys enter the field in just a moment. Scotty, look at these pictures. They were just on the park a moment ago. They are switched on, these Western Force boys.
Oh, there's a bit of passion there. Like everything that they've gone through, they know this is the game, this is the one they want, and you can see them running out on the field. And we've got some real key matchups here, and I think there's going to be a bit of niggle. There might be some fireworks, so I'm really excited for it.
They're the Rebels. They are a quality team. They've won their last 3. They've had more wins than they've ever had before. They're on the verge of Super Rugby finals, and they have sent a real squad here to play. They're not mucking around at all. Of course, we've just seen the Wallabies do the business against Ireland. How good is that? With a couple of former Force players, now Rebels in that, and there are a number of players in this Rebels team that were very close to Wallaby selection.
Yeah, that's right, and they'll be looking for a big game tonight. And then you've got those on the peripheral. You've got Richard Hardwick that hasn't played all year. He's going to be looking for a big game, same with Bill Meeks, and it's up to the Western Force to nullify those guys and put the performance out there tonight.
Okay, it's a tough task for the Rebels. They're coming here to play. They're not arch rivals, but it certainly is a grudge match. And they're out in the middle, in amongst those fireworks there going off. If they didn't know what World Series Rugby was, they did now. Someone who does, she's been here all along with us, is Danny Orlando, and she has Sam Longley with her for the first time tonight. Sam.
Thanks, Mark. Yes, we have Sam Longley here. How exciting is this? Game 3 of World Series Rugby. Sam, welcome to the team. You must be excited.
I am absolutely thrilled. I didn't know there was fireworks and dancing and rugby, of course. Can't wait. What a game. Rebels v Western Force. I'm excited.
We've all been so excited for this match, and we just can't wait for it to get underway.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Sam. We look forward to hearing you guys out there. And of course, Scotty, one of the great parts of this is we go out onto the field and talk to the players, and fantastic of the Melbourne Rebels to agree to that as well. We will be out on the field talking to the Rebels players when they score a try. Do we expect it to be high scoring? Talking about high, 20 grand, just must mention that. There's Kieran and his son Declan sitting on the pitch. G'day, guys. Kieran will be kicking for $10,000 cash at half-time, and there will be a home viewer that can also ride the kick with Kieran, and I'm sure little Declan, also for 10K. It's the $20,000 cash kick. What you have to do at home is be as simple as this, Scotty. Listen in, you're going to give us the code word a little bit later on. We need you to use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you like. You need to go hashtag, I'm new to this, hashtag the code word you'll provide us later, hashtag cash kick, and make sure you tag at Western Force. There it is. You'll provide us the code word later. Hashtag code word, what's gone quiet? Hashtag cash kick and tag in Western Force.
I tell you what, that kid's going to Disneyland if Dad kicks it over. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah, I don't know where he's going to spend his money on. Right, I reckon we can move in and just about see the Force boys arrive. The flags are flying here. They're the final moments inside the rooms with the Western Force, and the hype continues here around the stadium. These players have got used to it, but it has to still get them going, doesn't it? Oh,
it's amazing. The spectacle here with the guys in their morph suits running around with the Western Force flags, they're amazing. The fireworks, this is World Series Rugby, and we're all looking forward to the action on the field.
So the Rebels are out in the middle waiting for the Force to arrive. They're going to get here and find the conditions. Well, they knew the conditions. They were out here warming up a moment ago, and they're going to find them pretty much fine, Scotty. An hour ago, we thought we were going to be rained out. They say World Series Rugby's got you covered, and that's certainly the case today. The skies, although we can't see them, it's a bit black, but we're pretty sure there's no rain.
Look, even though there's going to be, if there's rain, it doesn't matter. I think these guys are free-flowing. They're going to use the ball. They want to use the ball out wide. And you look at the defensive, numbers out there. 81% is the Super Rugby record for the Rebels, and I think, you know, they're ill-disciplined. They're going to see a lot of tries out here, so I'm expecting the Force to put some points on them.
It was interesting, really interesting to talk to Dave Vessels, the former Force coach, of course, now the coach of the Rebels, during the week when he arrived. It's an emotional game for him too. He was saying he loves this. He loves what World Series Rugby has done. He said the stage one, quote unquote, has been spectacular. This is the future. He's not watching, although he could be. He could be up in the rooms right now in his coach's box looking at the same pitch as we are. He'd be a little bit worried that the Rebels are in position and have been for a little while. It's not a cold night, but it is late in the mid-year and there's a little bit of breeze around. These boys have been ready to go for a while. We wait for the Force to come out, and the emotion's certainly going to be with the home team. Not intentional, just the way it's happened. Isn't it, Scotty?
Oh, exactly, mate. And look, at the end of the day, these guys, they're professionals, so they know what to do out there. They're probably just thinking about their individual game. There's a few. You look at the back row. They're ex-Western Force players from last year. They're going to be thinking about that opportunity and coming back here and making the most out of the game tonight. So it's going to be great.
Okay, well, the Force boys are about to appear. There are the Melbourne Rebels there. They're lined up. They have been for a little while. They're ready to go. And we're about to listen in as the Western Force arrive. World Series Rugby Game 3. It's been billed in some quarters as a grudge match. The Force against the Rebels. There's Ian Pryor, the skipper, and here they come. So the Force are here. We're nearly ready. They'll move straight into position behind the Indigenous Warriors. Another unique element of World Series Rugby for the home team is the Indigenous Warrior Dance. You'll hear the voice of Barry Maguire, respected Noongar. The didgeridoo will sound around NIB Stadium. And the Rebels, they're up close. It's up close and personal already tonight. Leon Power, start on the bench. As always, World Series Rugby brings with it an electric atmosphere. Let's go up into the commentary box. I think it'll be pretty sharp up there as well. I think Scotty's made his way up there. He's not wearing socks, you know, Ash. Ash Morrison has joined us. He's been on international duties. He's back on the team.
Thanks very much, Mark. And it is, a lot has been said about the rivalry between these two teams. But I think they're united because both clubs had the sword of Damocles hanging over them last season. The Rebels survived, and the Force now are part of World Series Rugby. It is going to be Super Rugby versus World Series Rugby. And the big point to make here, the Rebels were the only Australian franchise who were prepared to play the Force in World Series Rugby. And they should be accepted the gratitude of that, and especially Dave Vessels, as it is the Rebels to kick off and get us underway. Deep kick to the 22, fielded by the Force, and immediately Stander goes on the attack.
Offside.
Offside called by the referee, so the Force have got a slight advantage. Scott Faber, you were saying you believe that the back rows are going to be the real key point in this game because obviously so familiar with each other.
Yeah, you look at Chris Alcock versus Richard Hardwick. Two guys that are really good on the ball. They're going to really choose their moments in terms of the tackle contest. But in these conditions, they could really have an effect on this game.
Good indeed. 6 Force players involved for the Rebels, former Force players.
And then you got the number 8s. I was talking to the boys yesterday, and they were sitting there going, there's a bit of animosity between Stander and Cottrell. So we're looking forward to that heating up out on the field later on.
Angus Cottrell, of course, was out for most of last year with a knee injury. So it's good to see him back out there. You never like to see any players out with long-term injuries. The first line out of the match. Force ball. Want to win this. Goes to the front, almost intercepted, but grabbed by Bardul. In fact, the Rebels stole it. Into contact, but lost forward there by Matt Phillip, another one of the ex-Western Force players. Force again, very quick to the loose ball, driving over the top. Deegan goes to the boot again. Is that going to go all the way? No, the referee said there was a touch off a Rebels player, so well fielded defensively. Brilliant work, in fact, by Henry Hutchinson.
Entry number 2. Hey.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Here we go.
A little bit of the
That didn't take long. Look at that empty.
Oh, we talked about it. We talked about the fireworks. Scotty, we were out there amongst it.
Yes.
Oh, you picked this. This is great stuff.
This is the passion.
Well, it's simple. It's what is it? It's not. It's science. It's physics. I don't know. Tell me what it is, Ash. You're the smart one. But when brothers go at each other, they go harder than normal.
Well, Cottrell involved immediately. It was the second man in, was just a little bit late, came in from the angle.
Okay, don't push each other right once the whistle's gone. We're clear on that? 2 minutes in, that's not going to continue the rest of the game.
It's human nature. I think that's what I was looking for. Human nature when brothers go at each other. He's up.
Time back on to...
He's up. He's got a right smile too. He started that. Tess.
He's tough as teak. Tessman getting involved straight away. Certainly you feel the referee tonight, Will Houston, is going to have to be on his mettle, because there will be a little bit in this match. And Meeks, well, it was a blind pass. Eventually it came out wide. Comes to Hutchinson. Hutchinson has to cut back in field. Evades the challenge of Deegan. Gets up over the 10-metre line for the Rebels. Good run by the winger. Force now fanning out across the field, but Rebels moving the ball quickly again. Good quick hands through Taylor Adams.
Move!
A short pass coming to Maloney, the prop, just popped back, goes to the boot, just in behind the defence, but good cover will come from Grant. Well, tricky kick ahead, just really needed to force the Rebels backwards. Picked up again, though, well by Taylor Adams. Adams goes to the boot. I may have, I thought he'd overcooked that, but Deegan kept it in play for the Force. Deegan goes to the boot again, high this time. Doesn't follow his kick, although Pryor does. Pryor is first there, but doesn't manage to affect the tackle. Does hold the man up momentarily, though. Rebels with possession. Good start by them. Comes out again. Good pass now. Tom English wearing the captain's armband for this match for the Rebels. Debrasini. Rebels recycling, but the Force defending well. Not gaining too much territory at the moment. Adams, his pass was a little bit erratic, but it managed to find the way out to Kitu Ratu. Force fans willing it over into touch. Play on is the call from the referee. A little sniping run coming from Harrison Goddard. Still, the Rebels maintain possession. And the back row called into action for the Force, but still the Rebels managed to gain a few metres. Again, quick hands, gets to Billy Meeks. Meeks thrown to the ground, but released and able to set up. Little knock backwards. Good clearing up again coming from Taylor Adams. I think the referee disagrees with me. He felt that was knocked forward.
Hey, we've got to go. We need to make some money for some people. 20K is on offer. You've got the job, Scotty Favour. You've got to give us a code word that the viewers at home need to use. If they use it on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, from now until just before halftime, they're a chance to win 10 grand. What's the word, mate?
All right, the code word is Grant. G-R-A-N-T.
As in Peter?
As in Peter Grant.
Because?
Well, he's the goal kicker tonight, and he's our super boot. So if you can look at Peter Grant and the way he kicks a ball, emulate his feats, and getting those goals over.
Did you work that out all on your own? So that's very smart. That's very smart. And there's the man that will be doing it live. There's Kieran and Declan, his son. So he's sitting pitch side. How nervous is he right now? He's watching right now as there's an injury concern for the Rebels, but that's the last thing he's worrying about. That's what it's about, the 20K cash kick. World Series Rugby brings some amazing things. It brings you the chance to come to the footy, come to a rugby game and win 10 grand, and just sit at home and watch on the TV. And if you use that hashtag Grant, hashtag cash kick, and make sure you tag in Western Force, you are a chance also to ride with Kieran to win 10 grand. It's as simple as that. We'll tell you who the home viewer is a little while from now. So we're going to give you plenty of time to get it out there. Hashtag Grant, hashtag cash kick. Make sure you tag in at Western Force.
Back on.
Now the first scrum now of the match. And how important is this, Scott Favour?
Fine.
Well, you got 1 minute. So basically these guys get in these wet conditions, find their feet, and get some dominance straight away over their opposition.
So,
Pryor. Ian Pryor just being told by the referee there was clear instability. Needed to put the ball in quicker, as you say, Scott Favour, with World Series Rugby. Just 1 minute for the scrums and the line-outs to try and speed the game up. And I must admit, that's one of the innovations I really like.
Well, it just puts ball in play, and that's what we want. As spectators, this sea of blue, even though they're in the rain's starting to come down now, they want to see the ball in action.
That's what the fans definitely want to see, and it was good to hear David Vessels saying that they will put on a game people want to see. He said it's important that people want to watch rugby. So, again, he's throwing down the messages coming across for this match.
Hey, Ash, who was it that said out there pre-match that there would be no more rain? Was that Scotty? You're wrong, mate. I don't know why you come up with that. The rain's coming down reasonably heavy at the moment. What does that do to a game that's laced with such emotion?
Mate, we've got a real situation here where, the forwards want to get some dominance. We're going to start playing in tight, and with that, there's going to be a lot of opportunities there for the one-on-one battles, and the contest is going to be massive. So for each and every one of those guys in the 8, it's a real importance now to work hard and dig in deep.
Good kick from Peter Grant. He's taken the force up just between the 22 and the 10-metre line in the Rebels' half. As the rain tumbles down, obviously the ball becoming harder to handle. Tessman, the throw at the line out. Watching in the warm-up, force just struggling with a couple of the lifts, but it's a good one to the front and grabbed well by Fergus Lee Warner. And they'll try and look to get the rolling ball going. Rebels players caught up in the air, trying to lean over, but at the moment it's a good drive by the force. Again, the Rebels just trying to reach over and stop that, but it's good possession from the force. Little breakaway now, they're over the 22. Need to get quick, clean ball. Heiberg picks up, drives forward. Now it's the turn of Johan Bardul. He scored in the opening game against Fiji. He'll be desperate to get another try. Now it's Tevin Ferris, the Netherlands player, who's really forced his way into the force lineup. Heiberg involved again. Rebels, though, defensively very strong. Pryor spins the ball. It's a good one out to AJ Alatimu. Lost forward, though, picked up now by Ross Aylett-Petty, the former force player. The Rebels getting the chance to play out of defence. This is bowled by them. Snared, taken a grab, but not held on to and able to pick up and carry the ball. Question was, did he release it in the tackle? And now it'll be cleared by Goddard.
There's a good phase of play from the force, coming out of there, rolling more into some really good hit-ups. And how about Heiberg? 2 hit-ups in a row. It's awesome.
Loves that, doesn't he?
In tight. You can feel it. The rain's coming down. He knows he's got to take hold here, take the ball up.
Another line out for the force. Just a few metres back from where they launched that last attack. Deegan, little chip over the top. It's a good one if it can be gathered, but it's gathered instead by Henry Hutchinson. Evades one challenge. Good fast feet from him. Offloads, trying to kick it forward. Was caught into the hands of Tessman. And he kicks a grubber into touch.
We knew he was up and about. We saw that in the opening 2 minutes, and now he's mad with himself, not the opposition. He had an opportunity there. Oh, he's on, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's on.
That's not often you see front rowers trying their fancy footwork with a little grubber.
He should have just taken the hit up. Come inside.
He's probably not done the front row club a lot of good with that, because they like to see you go into the battle.
He could have got a bit of cheese there. He could have got a bit of the cheese from the front row club.
Tapped back by the Rebels, lost forward by Meeks. Advantage to the force. The tackle coming in, though, from Richard Hardwick.
Still
pops out
advantage
the
to
side.
blue.
Pryor, still an advantage, we heard the referee say. Deegan, little kick in behind. Hutchinson comes back again and gathers. No advantage, so we'll be back for the free kick.
And you know, when we're talking about forward plays, Ash, we're sitting, well, the man in between us was the best forward in Super Rugby in 2004. Of course, he played for the Wallabies in 05 and 06, represented Australia at the Com Games. He has a special place in Western Force history, and we're going to relive that a little bit later on. He looks a little bit different than he does now, it's fair to say, Ash. We'll go back to the Western Force first ever game and their first ever try, if you don't mind. Just something to put in the back pocket for later.
Yes, and remember it well against the Brumbies at Subiaco Oval. Of course, there was a game against the Cheetahs, which was a warm-up game.
Fine.
Is that when I had some hair?
Maybe.
So dead centre for the Force. Stunder just keeping the ball in. Now offloads to Pryor. Deegan. Good pass from him, Fan Alatimu. Again, good defence from the Rebels. They're really defending superbly. Tessman just off the ruck. Possession, looking to offload quickly, but again was swarmed by the Rebels. Heiberg involved again. He's happy to take it into contact. Crowd beginning to find their voice here at NIB Stadium as the Force edge closer to the try line. And it's been knocked forward now. And it will be a scrum to the Rebels.
Slippery pill. Just got to make the most of it. Get in tight.
Just appeared a little miscommunication. Tevin Ferris here just losing it up in the air, and then it was Bardul who gathered. The ball was lost forward. If you were in any doubt, Billy Meeks trying to fire up.
Did you see Meeksy there? I was about to say.
Crouch.
He's going to get into these guys, that's for sure. He loves a bit of lip, Meeksy.
I think everyone enjoyed his performances last year. Heiberg is the player penalised this time. He's coming in on an angle into the scrum. Must be square, horizontal to each other when you engage. Zini will try and gain metres. Takes them up to the 10-metre line. Clearance in these conditions.
And just a reminder, hashtag Grant, hashtag Cash Kick, and make sure you tag in Western Force, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, however you like, and you could have the chance to win $10,000 just for sitting watching World Series Rugby. Kieran will be out there at half-time. If he kicks the place kick through, he gets 10, and so do you.
It's over the back again, scrappy line out. It's the second one we've seen. Is it the conditions or is it just miscommunication? Tackling again by the Force, just driving the Rebels player backwards. Meeks stepped off his left foot, was grabbed. Now it's Goddard. Good kick forward from him, will be fielded in the deep.
White blue.
Straight down. Oh, dear me, you don't expect that to happen from Taylor Adams, and he'll be frustrated about that.
And who gave him a tap on the head? Tess.
That's Adams, normally very reliable. It was interesting, he came over from New Zealand to play in Australia, won the Ken Catchpole medal in the Shoot Shield, fairest and best for West Harbour, and he said that was what really lifted his confidence, and he found it difficult to adjust to the Australian way, but Todd Loudon, his coach, was a big influence on him, and he feels that everything's gone forward from there.
And this is his opportunity. He's playing against the Western Force. Got a lot of momentum, 2 wins, and he's got to lead this back line. Meeks, English, these guys are the Super Rugby incumbent centres. So if he can get them going forward, then he's doing his job.
Pick up by Stander. Pryor spins it out. Good pass, picked up at pace by Taifu. I look to the right, then a darting run down the blind side. He held momentarily, it was Lee Warner. He comes back to Pryor. They had numbers out that way. Heiberg again, gaining metres for the Force. Quick pick up by Stander. Van Deegan. And it's a forward pass apparently by Alatimu, so it won't be a try. Referee was convinced it was a forward pass, but he's going to go back for the knock forward from the Force instead.
I thought it was backwards out of the hands, mate, so all I meant.
I think it was the touch judge who called that it was a forward pass, and the referee overruled it.
Yeah.
Okay, I love to do this. It's great to be able to go in with the refs like this. It's different to a lot of sports, the respect that the players talk to the refs with, and then to have a referee apologise. You don't hear that all the time either. That's great.
The only thing you hear about referees at the test match level is they don't anymore attend the test match dinners after test matches, and they feel that's a little bit sad. So one of the traditions that fell by the wayside, I think, when the game went professional.
Time off.
It's always good to hear from the ref after a game and hear their perspective.
Let's listen in now to Will.
Talk early on. We're going to scrum to the conditions. I've got to see that gap. Otherwise, we'll free kick, we'll penalty, and we'll go from there. We clear? Thank you.
Again, it's just outstanding. So we're in there with Will Houston, who's just making it clear. There's no second guessing. He is telling it how he wants to play it. He's changed. He's playing to the conditions. That's the rules. If you don't like them, get off. If you do like them, let's go.
Yeah, well, there's Kieran Longbottom's on the sideline, so maybe we should get him up here, talk through these scrums. There's going to be enough of them tonight.
Got a neck injury. Yeah, it's a loss for the Melbourne Rebels here. No, it's a loss for the Western Force to not have Kieran, that's for sure.
Heiberg again, the player penalised. It's very difficult in these conditions.
So what about the reserves, eh? They're down on the sideline, taking in the rain, running up and down, keep them warm. There's a few debutants there for the Western Force.
There are a couple. There are some Sydney grade players getting an opportunity as well for the Rebels. They've got their rain jackets on at the other end of the ground, just trying to keep themselves warm. As happens in Perth, as you gentlemen know full well, you did leave us, Scotty, but that's okay. Ash and I are still here. It does rain, but it's still not cold.
No, not at all. Feels good. I was in Canberra just before I came here. Now that's cold.
Again, a scrappy line-out, but he is going to be by the Rebels, driving forward. Made most of the match inside their 22, and now here is a chance to break forward. A really good run coming from Matt Phillip, the former Force player. Taken to ground. He's got support, though, but the Force piling forward. Bardul really strong. Came off his head. Billy Meeks goes to the boot, looks to stretch play out wide onto the left-hand side. That's a great grab at really ankle height by the Rebels, ensuring they keep possession. Just going to have to be careful, just coming off the sides of the ruck at the moment. And that's a good intercept. And looking for support. It was a poor pass off the ground, though, from Fergus Lee Warner. Just tried to soccer that forward, but he couldn't get on the end of it. And now it's back with the Rebels, and taken to ground is Hardwick. Strong run from Kone Farmer Sicily.
Oh, turnover.
Tessman involved again. Lovely little offload this time going to Alatimu. His pass on the outside was a good one indeed to Davis.
Offside. One player's played the ball, you're in front of him.
All right, here's a chance for the Force. Put the ball in the corner, drive him more.
I'd have to say almost a little bit fortunate here, Scott. Great by Tessman. Alatimu fitted out to Rod Davies. As the Rebels player was in front of the ball as it was played back.
And we are going inside the rooms. We'll hear from the coach, Tim Sampson, at different times throughout this game, and some pictures in there. He's not happy with the scoreline, perhaps not happy with the start, and that's fair. You'd be saying the same thing, Scotty?
Well, just the drop ball. Obviously, you've got to play to conditions, but when you've had a couple of games in the dry, you've just got to change that game plan slightly. Use the ball, but understand too that you're going to make these mistakes, and the team that can eliminate that is going to get more momentum.
Let's have a listen to Will again. He's dressing down almost the Rebels as we were up close and personal with number 2, Heath Tessman, the vice-captain.
I think, Mark, it was actually Tom English was just asking for the referee to watch the Force at the breakdown. He feels that there are a few infringements just off the edges of that as Pryor gets good ball from the line at Deegan. Alatimu into contact, still manages to drive forward with support from his teammates. Right in front of the posts. Tessman again, just off the left-hand side of the ruck, drives it forward. Pryor again, short pass, Stander, driven forward and taken to ground by Ross Haylett Penny.
Side.
Entry.
Meeksy from the side.
Cut the corner, as opposed to going through. Careful down here, yeah?
Mings, the player that was infringing there. Ball for a scrum. The Force deciding to keep the ball in play. They went for the line out rather than
height at the scrum.
Yeah, this is interesting. The last penalty was to the Rebels from the last scrum. So, you know, this is a position where they've got to get the front row going, get them up closer, assert that dominance.
So why is he going this way? Why is Ian Bry going this way?
It's a good platform to attack. So if the backs want a bit more space, they're able to do that on the right-hand side here.
Crouch! Bind!
So watch Heiberg. He needs to stay strong in this one. He is at the moment. Price put the ball in. Both scrums locked. A good drive coming from the Rebels. It spins around. The Rebels penalised. Onifa Sicily is the player penalised.
Number 3, Paul.
Emotions are certainly high. We saw it after 2 minutes. We've seen it now after 20. Take us through this, Scotty.
Well, look, he's saying that the number 3 came around. Once again, this is my forte, mate. I'm all over it. I'll listen to Will's explanation. But they're going again, which is great. It's great from the Force's point of view. They want to seek this dominance against the Rebel pack.
Tim Sampson said in the press this week that the gap between Super Rugby and World Series Rugby is not as great as some people would think. And 20 minutes into this match, no points. The Force have probably dominated in terms of possession. Can they now get some points? Good strong scrum picked up by Stander. It was just ankle tap, goes to ground a couple of metres short of the line. Trying to crawl towards the line. Pryor picks up. Is he over?
Yes.
Well, it wasn't in fact Pryor. It is a try though to the Force.
Oh, and here we go. They're coming from everywhere. The Force players and the Rebels aren't backing away. They are right in their face, having plenty to say after the try. Oh, we knew it was going to happen, Scotty. We didn't think it was going to rain. We weren't sure, but we knew this would happen.
It's good. This is what we want to see. We want to see that passion. These guys have, through the adversity of what's happened last year, they've got it there. It's on the forefront of their mind, and they want to perform. And there's a lot of guys within this Rebels team as well that want to put themselves on the map with Dave. So they want to play well.
Okay, take us through it.
Stand a good run out from number 8, and then there was a pickup and over the top.
That's exactly what I just told him.
And Harry Lloyd goes in.
Here it is. What a great picture this is.
Good
number 1.
Straight into the halfback.
Well, that got paused by the blue bench coming in to celebrate, so Justin's going to have a word to them about staying out of it.
Okay, there you go. You can hear it in the ref mics there. We'll try to get in amongst it and maybe talk to Harry Lloyd, but the ref's saying the bench have to stay out of it. And, well, I'm sure that'll occur, but the emotions were running high. Now that the conversion is about to take place, and in the middle of the ground, the Western Force players, the skipper's got them together. Here's the conversion.
Peter Grant lining it up, the clock counting down. He's got to take it quickly, 3 seconds left. Takes it now. It's hit the upright. Has it gone over? No, it hasn't.
Starts that run up.
It's interesting that the bench, they're warming up on the side there, and they've rushed in because they're excited. And talking to these guys yesterday in the captain's run, the real feeling amongst the group is that they're here together and they're building something special.
So the first points, sorry Scotty, the first points to the Force go on the board. 5-zip as play resumes. Keep going, mate.
And, you know, they're thinking about rugby and the love of rugby, and they've pulled it back. It's not about money, it's not about contracts anymore, it's about loving rugby again. And that was a real theme that came out with these boys. And I think, you know, the bench coming onto the field, you could see that they wanted to be involved in it. They wanted to celebrate that try together as a team. And it's good to see.
Yes, indeed. Now, it's interesting, actually, the Rebels were complaining that Peter Grant took too long with the kick. And the referee was saying that as long as he starts his run before the clock comes down, I reckon he was very, very close to not starting his run.
His run is 3 steps. So it's always going to be tight, isn't it?
I think the Rebels may have had a point personally. Conversion missed, so the Force leading by 5 points to 0. Deegan, Alatimu, just helped on by Peter Grant. Davies snared. Pryor. And that's again a good tackle, driving back Fergus Lee Warner. Will be certainly fired up, having conceded that try. I don't expect this to be a cakewalk. In 7 games between these two teams, there's been a margin of victory of less than 5 points. 5 points or less. Brilliant break forward now by Hutchinson, who's been really lively in this first half and shown great handling. Of course, a former Sevens player involved with Randwick, who was the 2016 World Rugby Rookie of the Year. Scott, you were involved in the Sevens, and you would know that the stuffed wallaby is the responsibility of the youngest player. You're aware that at the Olympics, Henry Hutchinson was in charge of it and actually lost it for 24 hours.
Did he really lose it? I'm sure it was one of the players. That always happens.
It turned out it was the Swedish women's football team that took it.
Well, that's not such a bad thing for Henry.
I'm sure he went and claimed it. As they're on the attack now, the Rebels, little grubber ahead.
Tackle off the ball by number 8, just here.
So did you see that tackle off the ball, number 8? That was Cottrell came straight into the line, and he was a dummy player. And who hits him? Stander. Bang. Those two.
Yep.
They're going to be at each other all game.
You had the good oil pre-match,
Love it.
didn't you? You got, well, you might have got it from the horse's mouth, truth be told. But we knew, again, we just knew some things were going on. We've got an injury break here just off the ball with a Melbourne Rebels player down, and the ball's being kicked out while we have a look at that. Can we take this opportunity when we've got a little break just to go back? I mentioned, you know, just a little while ago when Scotty Favour looked a little bit different than he did now. This is the first ever game from the Western Force, and that is the first ever try. Have a look at him go. I think he had the mouth open there. It was a bit like Farlap. He had the mouth gaping, and there's a bit of emotion there. And on the board, and look at him now.
Oh, goodness. Look at that eye.
Look at him. I reckon, I think he looked better then. No, he definitely looked better now. Hey, you're a good-looking rooster. You're a good-looking rooster, hey? That was a little while ago, and that's why they love you here. Have a look.
Look at that.
Oh, my
Look at the
goodness.
chops.
What year was it? 18 what?
Yeah, that's exactly right. 2006, mate. 12 years ago.
Oh, that is brilliant. Great to have you back.
Ah, mate, it's been great to be back.
There's just, I must say quickly, Ash, I'm not sure what this is about. There was some hashtags quokka, but I'm not sure whether no, you're right, we won't mention that again. Let's go.
Brightness.
Good line out by the Rebels. It's at the back as they're driving forward. They're getting closer to the try line. The Force are going to have to be on their mettle to stop them at the moment. Force them back.
So even Pryor's getting in
the
there.
ball out, and Harrison Goddard frustrated, and the Force penalised for collapsing.
Who's on the bottom? Badu. Big Yogi.
Testament was down there too as well.
He's been good for the Force, though. He's in a leadership role. He's got a lot of these kids that he lives with, and he's been really bringing them through and bringing that passion for the Western Force jersey. So he's been great for him.
We spoke to him last week when he was out with the hamstring. Heath Testament, very eloquent. He knows the game well. He'll have 2 options, I think, when he's finished. He can come and join us up here, or he can go and join Tim Sampson in the coach's box. He knows what he's on about, and he has been so good. We talk about the inspired choice that is Ian Pryor, the captain. Heath Testament is a sensational vice-captain for this group as well.
Charles again, who of course was the player Heath Testament replaced when Nathan Charles got an injury. It's great to see Nathan Charles back in Australian rugby. Was with Bath, and he learnt all their line-out throws on the plane coming back as it's spun wide. Here's a great chance for the Rebels. Good tackle, just grabbing the man and taking him to ground. Superb by Peter Grant. Still alive, Meeks snared. Just a good tackle this time from Deegan. Still the Rebels come though. Short little offload. This time it goes to Ross Haylett-Petty. Still coming. Farmer Sicily is the man taking the ground this time, and the Rebels, well...
Oh, that was late.
Yeah.
Come on.
And that was great work from Tessie. He was straight on that ball then, but he did get hit late. I don't know if that was after the whistle. Maybe they should have a look at that.
Sam Jeffries, isn't it, who came in late? Like, you don't need to look at that. You saw it. But I love it. Don't get me wrong. The emotion that is in this game, at times it's bubbled over. Have a look.
Sasuli was the man who went to ground and then, whoa, yeah.
Oh, from the side,
Only
too.
just late. Play on. It's a man's game. It's a tough game, this one. It is completely different, Ash, to the game that you were involved, 24-14 over Fiji and 47-17 against Tonga in Game 2. This is a completely different game of World Series Rugby, but well, we are loving it more, it must be said.
Again, having to clear up at the back. Good work by Chris Alcott. It's the Force who knocked forward. So we've got another scrum, and of course these shorter time periods for the scrums and the line-up mean the forwards don't get the rest periods that they're used to, and you can see a few of them puffing quite hard because they have to keep going.
Mate, if you speak to any of the Fru Club, mate, it's never a rest period. Those backs out there, they're having a bit of a laugh. Scrum upon scrum. Keep going, boys.
The 1 minute scrum's one of the great parts of World Series Rugby, to keep the game moving. You don't get the opportunity to just sit there and play a tactical game in that sense. If it collapses for the first time, the heat's really on the second time.
Harrison Goddard to put the ball in. Again, rock solid from both teams. Goddard has to reach in to get the ball out. Meeks steps off his right foot, gets past 2 tackles and eventually goes to ground. Goddard again, but lost forward. Really good defensive play by Deegan. Breaking forwards was Taifu. Oh, and just a tumble there, but managing to get back to his feet. It's Tevin Ferris. On his knees, crawling forward is Alcott. Pryor. Tevin Ferris involved again. Tevin Ferris, who was one of the youngest captains in local rugby here in Western Australia when he captained Nedlands last year. A good chase this time from Alcott. Rebels, though, with the ball just outside their 22. Peter Grant really up in the defensive line. And he's just holding the player up, doing good work.
That's great strength from Grant. Fullback in there, doing the hard yards.
He obviously heard your comments and took offence.
We're all on one team, Western Force. That's one of the mottos. And if it's your turn, Scotty.
Okay.
Oh, indeed. You can see that these guys, once again, we're talking about it, the passion, they're bringing it together, they're playing for each other, which is great. But it's really just a good chat. You've got some really good leaders in there that are making some really good decisions. Testament on the ground, Grant holding them up, Prior's generating in from behind. So, you know, if you've got good leadership, then the rest of the guys are going to follow.
Okay, another injury concern. There have been plenty of those. That might give us a chance to go down boundary side, I reckon, to talk to Kieran, who's going to be feeling some real pressure of his own in just a moment. He's going to be kicking for $10,000 cash. Sam Longley, over to you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Now, Kieran, you're going to be doing the cash kick for $20,000. $10,000 for you and $10,000 for a home viewer. How's the pressure? You feeling a bit nervous?
I didn't know I was kicking for them as well. I thought I was just kicking for myself. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure now.
Mate, we're all one big team here, so it's 10 for you and 10 for a home viewer. Have you done any of your practice?
No, man. No, not one bit of practice, eh? I'm relying on 15 years of experience ago.
I love it. And you've got your little fella here. G'day, Declan. Do you think Dad can kick the big one? I think that's a definite, absolute yes. Now, I hear that your wife was the one that dobbed you in for this. Is that correct?
Yeah, she signed me up. Didn't even mention it to me until we actually won it. And yeah, she's in the stands somewhere with my 1-week-old daughter as well.
Wow, so you've got the whole family here rooting for you.
I mean, here, yeah. Got the second one here. It's not here, but yeah, he knows why.
And any plans for the 10 grand when you win?
I think she's already got the plans for me. Yeah.
Mate, whatever she says goes, right? Well, good luck with it, mate. I'm sure you'll do just fine. Have a good one, Declan.
Great work, Sam. And we saw there the creative selfie. That's how you do it. You use that cash kick hashtag, is going to get harder as it goes on. Scotty to get involved. Back to the play. We're away here.
Deegan to grab, but it was well blocked. Brilliant footwork coming from Kitiratu. Wins possession back for the Rebels, and they needed to, just 10 minutes away from half-time. Can the Rebels get a score and get on level terms, or even take the lead before the Oranges are served at half-time? Footwork, Meeks has to go to the boot again. He tries to feed it out wide. It bounces well for Hutchison. Hutchison goes to the boot as well. Plays it infield. That was great skills by him. Debrasini soccers it ahead. This could well be a first try for the Rebels. Debrasini gaps it, slides over. 5 points for the Rebels. Brilliant work, though, by Henry Hutchinson.
Look, I was just about to say that the short kicking game from the Force hasn't done them any favours. And then look at this. We get a turnover. Rebels from Meeks in behind. And then it's a soccer match all the way to the try line.
So there it is, 5 points apiece after 31 minutes, World Series Rugby Game 3. Okay, so they called it. I thought we would head to the video ref to decide that one, but no, they're just going to go with it. So the conversion about to take place. Taylor Adams there, it will be the man that will be converting or trying to convert. We'll see him in a moment. I thought they'd go to the video ref, no?
Well, yeah, mate, I didn't see anything there that was sort of warranted that. I think his grounding was fine, so, and he was onside, so yeah, play on.
And they add the other two with Taylor Adams firing it straight between the poles.
Okay, I think we can go down to Denny out on the ground.
Jack, your first try for the match there for the Rebels. So what's it like being a part of World Series Rugby?
It's great. It's a great contest out here. It's what the fans want. Let's keep it going. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack.
No, how about that? Love it. Again, we talk about the respect. Let's keep it going. Long may it go. And maybe the Rebels are about to go on a bit of a run.
Well, look, there's it's got to be in tight. You know, there's a thing here for the Force where they've just got to keep their defence going. It was a kick in behind, so they've got to rely that their defence is going really well. So if they can do that, keep pushing these turnovers, then we can look at making sure that they control possession once they get the ball.
Adams clearing kick going straight up in the air, gives possession back to the Force. Deegan trying to spark an attack, goes out wide. Rod Davies involved, and the Force are almost up to the 22, looking to reclaim the lead before the half-time break. It's a hard pass to field for Tevin Ferris, but he did well to get his hands down low. Pryor, stunned up, more than happy to take it into contact for the Force. Pryor again, old ear, just lost forward in the tackle. Tevin Ferris, the man, knocking it forward, but an advantage being played at the moment for the Force, for the Rebels rather. Ferris looking a little bit frustrated with himself, just almost snatched at that one. It wasn't the best of passes. Scott Faber.
Yeah, look, the thing is, the Rebels' defence is moving up hard. And when you're in those positions, you're taking one off the half-back, you've got to make sure that you get the ball into the hand and move forward and hard with it. And he's taking his eyes off the ball. He's looking at the defence, and that's pressure. And that pressure is being, you know, pushed along the line with these Force guys, and they're turning the ball over. So even if they have to take a step back, they just got to start getting that ball into their hands.
Harrison Goddard waiting to put the ball in, but it is the Force who've just pushed too hard. Pushing before the ball. Heath Desmond wanting to debate that with the referee, but thinks better of it. Harrison Goddard, who his father Glenn played first grade for Parramatta 2 Blues. Club formed in 1879. It must be one of the oldest clubs going around, and his brothers Jordan and Ashley play there as well. So obviously a club with steeped in history.
It is, and I played juniors for Parramatta as well. So yeah, I've played for a lot of clubs. But yeah, played juniors out of Parramatta, and there's a lot of history out there. So yeah, it's good to see these club players making their way through.
He's Goddard. Just taken into contact by Angus Cottrell. So lifted a little bit high on Taylor Adams, but no complaints, and quick hands being shown there by Matt Phillip.
Tackle! Tackle!
These players again almost looked like they were coming in from the side, and an advantage being Played for the Rebels as Meeks collects. No real advantage gained, so...
12 blue. Ruck's formed on the ball.
Right, comes forward. Looks as if Adams will kick for the corner.
That's Desmond down there. He's coming back in.
Well, they're shaking their head there. Sounds as if he may be... No, he's okay. Obviously, they were saying there's no problem, he can play on. That's a good kick, taking them to within about 12 metres of the force line. Can the Rebels get a second try before the half-time break?
And these are the crucial moments we talk about them, championship moments. 5 minutes before half-time, this is the time that the Rebels, they want to put a score on, they want to put it out.
Goddard controlling at the back. He's just 20 years of age, but showing his experience already. The force have won the pudding.
And there he is, the big Yogi. Comes off the ground, holding the ball. It was a good turnover.
And the players have got plenty to say in support of each other, and maybe a little bit across the bow as well to the opposition. Well, we could see there some, more than others, are really searching for some air. Some are really waiting for half-time. There's no doubt about that. This is a really important moment, so close to the break.
And the scrum, particularly here, you don't want to be giving away a penalty. So the last penalty against the Force, they're pushing early. So they've got to be disciplined down in this end of the field.
And of course, a power try would be on if they decided to run the length of the pitch with the ball, the Force. And it's gone against them, played on quickly. That was really quick thinking coming from Angus Cottrell. Just short of the line and easily over. And Billy Meeks will enjoy that.
And that's exactly what the Force didn't want. For the Rebels, easy try. Gave away the penalty, Force gave away the penalty at scrum. Quick tap, and Meeks is in.
So with that, 12-5, the lead extends now to the Melbourne Rebels. Okay, let's get down to Danny Orlando.
Billy, your first time back here at NIB Stadium since last year. What's it like playing up against the Force?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a pretty surreal feeling. Didn't know what to expect coming out, but as I expected, the crowd's very receiving of us, and a lot of love being showed, and it's a pretty intense match so far.
Great, thanks so much, Billy.
Billy Meeks, the try scorer, one of 6 players in the Melbourne Rebels team that are ex-Western Force. Now, Ash, the all-important conversion, 12-5, the Rebels lead.
Time to add 2 points just before the half-time break. He struck it well. It looks as if it's going to go between the poles. The flags are raised, and another 2 points for the Rebels, and stretches their lead. 5 points Western Force, 14 to the Melbourne Rebels.
Yeah, Rod Davies lucky there. Could have been a professional foul. Could have been off the field.
So 14-5 now. They were the first to score, the Force. They had some momentum. They never did much with it, did they, Scotty? And now all of a sudden they've got a real game on, so close to half-time. By the way, at half-time, of course, we've got the 20K cash kick coming up. That's it. We don't need any more tweets or Facebook posts or Instagram. We have the home viewer, Kirsty Moore, will be playing for 10 grand just for sitting at home. When Kieran kicks at half-time, Kirsty Moore will have the opportunity to win 10 grand as well.
Easy decision for the referee, taking the man out in the air. Jacques Ferry in the box. Peter goes. Peter Grant kicks for the corner. It's a very good kick, just 10 metres from the Rebels' try line. And now the crowd start to get behind the Western Force. Can they force a try and just close that gap in overtime in the first half? It's going to take something really special from the line-out. Remember, they've got a minute in which to take it. They're slowly coming forward. Heath Desmond waiting with the throw. The crowd getting louder and louder as they approached.
The sea of blue.
It goes short to the front. Good tackle, though, coming from Fahma Sicily. Again, it's a little pop pass. They're driving towards the line, just short again. Good work coming from Harry Lloyd. He's already got one try tonight. Can he get a second? It won't be him. Stunned up. Just popped the pass out wide. A good drive again from the force. They're just short. Pryor looks to pick out. He's pushed out of the way. Bardul decides he will go. He's held up just short of the line. Good pressure from the force. Rebels defending valiantly at the moment. Can the force get over there? Driving over it. Looks as if he's there. Chris Alcott looked as if he was the man, but play on is the call. And it's been stolen by Richard Hardwick, and this will be a chance for the Rebels to clear the danger and take them into half-time. And there is the kick out of play. And the whistle goes for the end of the first half. Well, the Force thought they'd got a score, but they didn't. And so at half-time, it is the Western Force 5, the Melbourne Rebels 14.
Yeah, Chrissy Alcock, he's put the question to the ref, because I think the Melbourne Rebels guy came in from the side and fell on the ball.
Well, we're going to go down to Ian Pryor, who's with Danny.
Ian, look, a tough game so far. It's been head-to-head, but, you know, the emotions must be really high. Do you think that's had a part in it for the first half?
Yeah, I think you saw from a few scuffles, the boys got out of the way early and really started settling with some footy. Obviously, the ball's a bit dewy, and we're playing some good footy, and so are they. The ball's just a bit slippery, so there's a few errors there.
And now, do you think there were any instigators in that push and shove? Because I know this was a highly anticipated game to see some of the old mates go head-to-head.
The usual suspects in the forwards, none of the backs have any of that, so pretty much them.
And what do we need to do in the second half?
Just keep controlling the field position like we are, just being a bit more patient, holding the ball, building those phases, and the effort will come from that.
Ian, just quickly, you had your wedding over the break. How was it?
Yeah, it was excellent. It was a fantastic day. Obviously, best day of my life, and obviously the main thing is that the bride enjoyed it, so that's the main thing that counts.
Well, we're catching up with Lizzie a little bit later on, so we're really looking forward to it. Good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
And $20,000 we're hopefully giving away next. The cash kick is coming up.
Half-time here at NIB Stadium. It is the Western Force 5, the Melbourne Rebels 14. Still plenty of action to come in the second half. Will the Force be applauding at the end of the match? They've got a lot of work to do to get back in this one, as the Rebels have just shown their superiority late in the first half, with a late try scored by former Force player Billy Meeks, who would love to be a fly on the wall inside the dressing room there, listening to what the Force coaching staff have to say to their charges. They've been in the match for most of it. They've put plenty of pressure on the Rebels, but we're going to go pitch side to Mark Doran, because pressure's on another man.
Okay, this is it. This is the cash kick. This is what we've been talking about. And I have to tell you, Kieran, it's 10 grand for you and 10 grand for Julie, who's been watching through that screen at home. And she is now watching you, about to kick this ball. If you do what you're supposed to do, you win 10, and so does Julie. Look down there and say something to Julie. Don't you love it? Kieran's played a lot of rugby. We're going to back him in. It looks harder than it is, ladies and gentlemen. It can't be that tough. Kieran, good luck. Matt Hodgson said you're about a 5% chance. No, you're not. You're at least a 75% chance. Put the ball on the tee. Let's see whether he can do it. Can he put it through, over the crossbar, between the posts? Give it up for Kieran, ladies and gentlemen. This is tough. Look at this. He thinks he's Steve Hooker, the pole vaulter. Here he goes. Here he goes. Can he do it? Can he do it? Can he do it? It's on the way! Sort of on the way. Sort of in the vicinity. I've had just a short moment to think of what I'm going to say. And I think the only term is bad luck, you loser.
Get this far, mate.
No, not at all, Kieran. Congratulations for getting this far. I'm not even sure that we've got a prize for you. We might have to find a hat or something for your efforts. That's tough. The pressure you were under there, Steve Hooker, who you were emulating there, he's never played under that pressure.
Yeah. Sorry, Julie.
What about, don't go, because you just need to say a little something to your poor son Declan. You brought Declan. Can Declan come out and say good day to Dad? You brought Declan along with you for the ride. You told him he was going to get new toys and all these wonderful things. Now you've got to tell him he's going to get not a lot. That's magnificent. Hey, mate, well done. Thanks for being part of it.
No worries.
Well done. Declan, your dad's a star, mate. Your dad's a star.
It was an easy kick, son. Yeah.
Isn't that brilliant? There we go. That's how you do it here in World Series Rugby. So we're going to go to the break after that. We feel for Julie. She's missed out. It's not the cash this time, but that means we'll do it again next week. So hashtag cash kick. Get your selfies in. Make sure you're listening to the broadcast next game against the Crusaders, and you too could be a chance to win $10,000.
Well, welcome back to Game 3 of World Series Rugby. And I'm sitting here with Lizzie Pryor. Now, between Game 2 and Game 3, a very big event happened for you and Ian. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was lucky enough to marry Ian on my farm back in Queensland. So it's pretty amazing.
Beautiful. Are you going to show us the rock? Come on, show the camera. Show us the bling.
That's the bling. I'm a lucky girl.
And how did it go? Was it a relaxed wedding? Was it full of fireworks and fanfares? Was it pretty chill?
Pretty chilled. Very rustic, you might say, on the farm. So just managed to be surrounded by all of our loved ones and just have a really big party and celebrate, I guess, what me and Ian have, which is just lots of love for each other.
That is fantastic. And you guys are married now, of course, but you also work together a little bit. You're the dietitian at Western Force. So at home, do you control the calorie count, or does Ian just get free range on the Freddo frogs?
He's actually pretty good now. He's been in like a program for a long time, but definitely I'm probably the worst one. I'm probably the bad influence on him sometimes, but yeah, pretty good and balanced, I'd say.
You are the bad influence. Well, thank you very much. We'll come and speak to you a bit later on, maybe.
Awesome, thank you.
Sam there with the lovely Mrs. Pryor. There were 2 royal weddings on the weekend. There was one that everybody was into and thought was fantastic, and then there was another with Will and some other lady whose name escapes me. She's an actress in Suits. I think there were 2 royal weddings, and that was the main one, was it? See, that's how much I know about it. The royal wedding for rugby was Ian and Lizzie, and what a fabulous occasion it was.
He's the patron of England rugby, isn't he?
Yes.
And was that Marcel as the celebrant there?
He was close up and personal, there's no doubt about that.
Wow, that is awesome.
Okay,
Second
ready
half
to go.
About to get underway. The whistle blows, and Andrew Deegan kicks deep. The rain is tumbling down here at NIB Stadium, which is making it treacherous conditions for both teams. Harrison Goddard, though, his handling has been exquisite tonight. Fielding by Peter Grant. Grant goes on a bit of a run, taken to ground, though. Now Stander, who's really loved to take it to the Rebels. And so too as Chris Heiberg. Deegan, just a little pass round the back to Heath Tessman, who's snared. Pops the ball up. Now there's a chance for Tevin Ferris to come forward. He makes the ball available. The Force would really love to get some early points on the board at the start of the second half. It would just give them a platform on which to get back in this match and take the lead back. Ferris again goes straight into Billy Meeks. Bardul in support. Was looking really for Ferris, I think, to just let that go, and he could have then continued the charge. Tessman again involved for the Force. Good defence, though, from the Rebels, showing real discipline. Referee just making sure they stay on side. Deegan offloads it. Good pass to Davies. Trying to just slip the tackle, but didn't manage to. Driven back this time is Chris Alcott. Still the ball being recycled well. Lee Warner to Deegan. Little pop pass coming from Davies. Stander, though, just knocking it forward.
Well, that was a good passage of play. And I think what...
Oh, little clip there to the face. It was only little, it was only cheeky. The number 8's again, Scotty.
I love it. They're getting into each other. But Timmy Sampson and Van Humphreys, I think they would have come out and said to the boys, keep it in tight. Keep it in tight. Let's work up the middle first. And they showed that. and they grabbed some really good momentum. But last pass that it has been for the majority of the first half, they've been turning it over. So they've got to get that discipline.
Here it is. No, we didn't quite get there. It was only a how's your father.
That's all you need, just a little chin on the chin. Bang.
The Rebels rock solid again in the scrum. Goddard spins it to Adams. Meeks breaks through the first tackle, offloads. It was a good offload as well, managing to find Tom English. English, though, was eventually snared. Rebels are up to halfway now.
Yeah, Billy Meeks has been in good form the last couple of weeks. He got the recall after he got dropped earlier in the year. That's someone they've got to watch out for.
It was interesting reading as well how he had a heart-to-heart with David Vessels, the coach, who told him he needed to work on a few things and went away, took on board what the coach had said and forced his way back into the starting lineup. That's what you got to do as a player.
Yeah, it can be hard. He was part of the emotion of last year, moving over to Melbourne for the first time. And, you know, sometimes little things get in the way. And you got to sort of, as a player, just take hold and concentrate on the things you can do.
The Rebels have brought Melbourne rain with them to NIB Stadium. It's just started to really get heavy again in the break just before and after half-time. These showers are coming and going. This is starting to get really heavy.
Tap back in the line-out, fielded by Chris Alcock. Dugan just dropping a little bit deeper so he could get the kick away. It's a good kick, splitting the fullback and the winger, but fielded well, deep. And then going on a run was Kitiratu. Meeks, who we were just talking about, hands off one, manages to gain another 5 or 6 metres as he kept driving with his legs. Lovely pass round the back, offloaded to Richard Hardwick. Not forward, though, according to the referee.
Knock on the tackle.
Will, just behind you, you've got a bit of black and white 5.
So credit to the Western Force crowd. It is absolutely hammering down, and they're all ponchoed up and staying in their seats. Of course, the new stand opposite our commentary position is fantastic for watching rugby. You're sheltered in pretty much most of the seats, apart from the ones right down the front.
You reckon you can start it up here? Okay, cool.
So this is one of the parts of rugby that some say, and for what it's worth, and I know that's not much, but I'd agree, this has to happen off the field. These are the stoppages that I know these guys need it. And look at that, they're enjoying it, that's for sure. They've only been out there 4 minutes and they're sucking it in, but injuries have to happen off the field, and that means rolling subs. That's one of the things that World Series Rugby will work towards going forward. We've got the 7-point try, we've got the 1 minute scrums, the quicker line-outs, but this has been a quick one. We're about to resume, but sometimes checking the hamstring can take 2 and 3 minutes.
Yeah, it takes, look, there's times where you want to have a break and then have that opportunity that you can get together and you can have a little chat. You know, core units, core groups within the leadership can then ascertain where we need to go to next. So it is beneficial at times, but when you get to the 2 to 3 minute mark and it's taken away from the spectacle, yeah, let's give it a go, see how it goes.
Blood still seems to be running down Matt Phillips' face. The referee was very clear about whether it would stop the stem or stem the flow. I don't think it's managed to do that, although it could be just the rain. Makes it look as if it's running down his face, with a latitude given by the referee. Again, it's a wheel of the scrum, and it will be the Rebels who are penalised.
Well, after giving away the 2 penalties before half-time that led to the try for the Rebels, the Force obviously pumped up on this one. They get one back, they get some field position, they get into a position where they can use those forwards and have an opportunity to get near that line.
Peter Grant goes to the boot, takes the Force a little bit closer, just gets them up to the 22-metre line. Harry Lloyd, the sole try scorer at the moment for the Western Force. Harry Lloyd, who was part of West Scarborough over here in Western Australia in 2017, now with Perth Bayswater. They won a championship here at NIB Stadium when the final was held here.
Substitution for the Rebels is an interesting one. Michael Ruru has come on, I think, for the first time, one of the stars of the Blues win in New Zealand. only a couple of weeks ago. Starting on the bench, he'll make an impact.
He will indeed. A former Netherlands player, Michael Rory, who played Super Rugby before his brother donned the All Black shirt for their Sevens team. A bit of boasting in the family there.
Indeed.
Oh dear, just lost in the grip there by Brad Lacey.
Oh, quick tap.
And on quickly, Deegan up. Oh, wow. He hasn't got any support there though. Pryor's there now. Grant into contact. Has to release. Rebels players driven off the ball. That was good support play by the Force. Now it's Lee Warner who's driven into the turf. Fairly soft turf at the moment. Bardul loves to run as well. Meeks trying to push him back, but Bardul too strong. Manages to gain a couple of metres, rolls over the top of Meeks. That's that looked a little bit high. Just riding up off the shoulder. Tevin Ferris now, he tries to drive forward, but great tackling coming from Maloney in the Rebels. Pryor looking right, then left. Tessman again takes it into contact for the Force. And Pryor left it behind and it's been stolen. Good anticipation coming from Nathan Charles. And look, the Rebels tow it upfield and the pressure eases.
Well, that was a great effort from the Rebels. There was so many big hits in there. They put their bodies on the line. Jeffries came in there, Pony, Richard Hardwick. And I think that's what they've come in. Their message from halftime must have been, let's not let them come through the forward pack. Let's show a bit of starch here and let's go at them. And they've shown that.
They sure have.
Look at Cottrell. Look at him. He's pumped. He's yelling at the Force guys.
Fair play to Angus Cottrell as well, because he went over to the Melbourne Rebels having missed all of 2017, didn't have a contract, asked if he could train with the club, and then he forced his way in, obviously because of another injury to another player, and that was Jordan Uelese. But got a contract, and that's all you got to do.
Mate, they're the opportunities. They're the ones that you put yourself on the line. Good on you.
As we've got another injury break, let's have a listen to, we spoke to Dave Vessels, the coach of the Rebels, now ex-Force, about coming back and what it meant to him.
David, we've heard you talk highly this week about World Series Rugby and what it is. Can you just explain for us again your thoughts about the experience and what it's like to be a part of it?
Oh, it's special for us to be a part of it, you know, just the way everything happened at the end of Super Rugby last year and kind of the shambles around the decision and things, you know, to see professional rugby and probably community rugby just thriving in WA is fantastic, you know. So we're very proud of the fact that the Rebels are supporting the Force, and we want to see World Series Rugby go from strength to strength.
Now, three.
Okay, we're back in business. Vessels up in the coach's box. Not happy with the fact that the Force were the first to score, but happy enough with what he's seen since then. But as we said from the very start, Scotty, this is game on. These blokes, they cannot relax for one moment.
Not at all. And the Rebels, they're coming out and showing, oh, that's a good turnover. And there's that Chrissy Alcott. Yep. He gets one back, which is awesome. But yeah, they're finding that, you know, the Western Force, they haven't been together as a group long enough. So if they can start putting some pressure on, they're going to see some cracks. And that's where a group that's been together for 3-4 months longer is going to have that real opportunity to put that fire in, particularly in the forwards, you know, and that's what we're seeing right now.
I must just correct myself. I think I said that Angus Cottrell replaced Jordan Uelese. It was Nathan Charles replaced Jordan Uelese. Of course, he replaced Rob Leota, who injured his shoulder. So that was, my apologies for getting that round the wrong way.
So substitution here for the Western Force. I think this is Sweden's first ever international. Marcus Vanzati, number 17, making his debut. The prop is out there. There he is. We see the back of his head as the substitution has been made. And Harry Lloyd, try scorer. That's it for him.
The Force try and get back into this match. Deegan goes to the boot. It's a nice high kick in wet conditions. Just needs the support play, and it is mishandled. Was it taken in the air?
Playing around in the air. Very clear from one.
Wow. Rod Davies penalised for playing the man in the air. I thought that was quite a well-timed challenge.
Sorry, actually, I think it's from the line-out. He's playing advantage. So it's a Force penalty.
What do they do with it? What do they do with this penalty from this position, Scotty?
Well, once again, it's a difficult situation to get up in the air and get a clean ball and bring it down. But the scrum at the moment struggling a little bit too, so you've got to get it deep, and I would put it out.
You read it like a book.
And a good platform now for the Force from this line-out.
This is the moment where the Force have got to put it all together. They've got to go to their stock standard option, the one they know they're going to get to every time, and it's their #1 play in this position.
Fire at the front of the line-out. And it's a good grab by Bardul. Deegan is caught. Ball made available. Good tackle from Meeks. Tessman again. Takes 2 Rebels to bring him to ground. Zati. It's his first touch from what I can gather. His mother a Swedish backpacker and his father from Queensland. And then they both went back to Sweden, where he was born, and then moved back to Australia. A Swedish player with a professional rugby contract. He'll be a trivia question for years to come.
Okay, don't want to be playing that game of Trivia Pursuit.
Pryor, good pass. Deegan, just a looping one over the top, but lost forward by Grant. Debrasini. That was an intelligent kick. He didn't go for length, he just went for the angle to make sure he got it
He's
out.
got advantage over just as he's kicked that, and it's gone out on the full. Wow, that's a good one for the Force. That was pretty lucky.
The blood continues to run down the face of Matt Phillip, and you would think he's going to have to go off soon and get that attended to.
So what do you reckon, Ash? Long balls? They're going to do the trick here in these conditions?
You've got to keep it in the forwards, surely.
You've got to keep it tight. You know, and we're showing, like, from the Force point of view, every time the long ball's been thrown, they're knocking it off.
Oh, there we go. Nick Nat Nui and Luke Shuey from the West Coast Eagles. Of course, the Eagles not playing in the AFL this week, so Nick Nat, he was here for the Fiji game. He was up close and personal, very much so, with the Fijians, and enjoying watching this game out there. There's some tackling that we've seen today that Nick Nat and Luke Shuey would struggle with, although Nick was suspended for something that would have been just, par for the course in rugby. They're two different codes, but great to see the AFL boys here in the West enjoying it all.
It's great they're out here supporting. Well done, boys.
The Force still trying it to find a way through a really resolute Rebels defence. That was a super little offload on the inside to Brad Lacey. Still, Lacey couldn't pick a hole. Tessman again driven back. Superb play by Tom Maloney. Now it's Fergus Lee Warner, takes it forward, makes it available again. Pryor's there, quick ball, did a blind pass to Marcus Van Zati. Van Zati, who gave up AFL because he was always being penalised for his tacking rugby, but it's an intercept now, and that's just what the Force didn't need. But Taylor Adams is sprinting forward, giving chase is Rod Davies. He will catch him, but he's going to slide over, and it's a 3rd try for the Rebels.
What were we just saying? The long ball. The long ball, bang.
So with the try, 19-5, Melbourne in charge now.
Well, yeah, as we said, the long ball. They had control of it. There was a nice little inside ball from Deegan. They were moving outside, one-on-one hit, and they were making some inroads. But then all of a sudden, bang, cut out pass, intercept.
It was a big chase, just couldn't quite get there in time. And with that, as we talked about, it's a decent advantage, particularly in these conditions now. Melbourne Rebels 19, Western Force 5 after the try, the conversion to come.
And Taylor Adams with the chance to convert his own try, running from just outside his 22. And he's got a real chance now to, you would think, take the game almost out of the reach of the Force. 24-year-old, making New South Wales country in the NRC. And he converts with ease. He's been very good off the boot today. That's 3 from 3. And it means it's Western Force 5, Melbourne Rebels 21.
We've got 3 changes here for the Force. Leon Powers out there.
Yeah, there's some tired boys making their way to the bench. Let's see what big Leon can do. Johan Bartle, one of those to sit down, go back and reassess. They're not exactly high-fiving on the bench. They're not out of it. There's certainly still time. It's tough.
And Clay Ewan's on as well.
Heath Tessman has come off as well for the Force.
And still the banter continues. Heath Tessman. Hodgson there as well.
He's enjoyed his time out there, Heath Tessman, hasn't he, Scotty? You called it from the very start.
He's got a smile on his face. He's enjoying it, and he's enjoying the group, which is great to see.
Yes.
Getting back to playing rugby.
Now the Force really need to get some points quickly. If you are a Rebels fan, you'll know the stats are in your favour. The Rebels have won 5 of the 7 games played in Perth. And at the moment they're in the box seat, but here's a chance for the Force. It broken away on the blind side. It was a really good bit of work by Feleti Kaitu'u. He again scored for the Force in previous games in World Series Rugby. Just short of the line of the Force again. They're claiming a try. It's going to be a scrum to the Force. I thought it was just short of the line, and it looks as they come up as if it may well have been.
So here we've got the Force.
They are going to go upstairs.
Yep.
He called it quickly, didn't he, Will Houston? But mate, was he talked into that going upstairs? Now they talk to each other, and then we'll get a look at it. Let's listen.
Do you have a grounding or not? I've got a grounding off the whistle. Okay, so that means it's an on-field try. Alex, you there?
Okay.
Yes, Will, I'm here.
So we go upstairs, and Scotty, you can talk us through it in just a moment. But
so on-field decision is try.
But hang on, didn't he say it was after the whistle?
I thought that's what he said.
That's what he said,
So
yeah.
that'd be no try.
Yes, but possibly, yes. Yeah, it's hard to interpret that.
Yeah.
Hard to interpret it any other way, but this is what the technology is for. I'm not going to tell much from here. Whose hands are on that? The ball's lost. The ball's gone at the moment.
Yeah,
because Lee Warno drove forward.
Big Gus.
Some tired boys, but we're seeing why the Rebels are in this position, in such a good position in terms of searching for an historic finals berth. The referees, you can see in the bottom left of the picture, they're looking up at the big screen.
But if it's inconclusive, they've got to go back to the on-field, which is a try. So this should be a try then.
Which was a try. So, yep, we'll talk about that while we get the opportunity. Now, here we go. We'll get another look at it. Hard to tell. Possible.
That, I think he may well have got it on the line, which is a try.
Okay. So,
hi, Will, are you there? Will, are you there?
Yep,
I
good.
have
Thumbs
no
up.
clear evidence to overturn the on-field decision, so you can remain with the on-field decision, which was try.
Okay. There we go. The Force get the try, get back within 11 now. Had to earn that, that's for sure. Ian Pryor will have the kicking duties right now, the captain. He's been very good.
Big Gus Lee Warner picks up, over he goes. So both the Force tries have come in that little section. Hit, pick and drive, hit, pick and drive. Been dominant in that area. So if they can keep their discipline right and put the ball into the Rebels' territory, they're a chance of coming back here.
I hope this is a better conversion than we saw from Kieran at the half-time cash kick. That's all I can say.
Ian Pryor, the captain, taking the kicking duties now. This is all about leadership. If he pops this one over, Force are back in it. Around the stadium, he struck it well, clean as a whistle through the middle. 2 more points to the Force. Western Force 12, Melbourne Rebels 21.
Yeah,
Well, 23 with the conversion. 23 with the conversion that puts them in absolute striking distance. The important number that you can see there is 57 minutes, heaps to go.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Big noise too around the stadium for the try that put Force back in the hunt, but also for the crowd. 13,907 people in these conditions have turned out to watch World Series Rugby Game 3. That's fantastic, following crowds of 19,500 and 16,000 in the first two games. A very different game in a completely different setting, but despite the rain, the Western Australian sporting public, they understand this is elite.
Well, this is great. Like, we're seeing some of the Super Rugby being played out there in front of crowds of 5,000-6,000 or less. And we come out here on a rainy night, NIB Stadium, and we're getting 13,000. The Sea of Blue, they're standing up and being counted for in this World Series of Rugby.
Prior's kick forward, everybody letting it bounce, but it will be grabbed in the end by Kitty Ratu. And the Rebels have got a little bit of space out wide if they can find it. Lovely little pop pass off the ground. Meeks breaks through one tackle, feeds the ball behind his back. Brilliant hands from Hutchison to field the ball and keep it in play for the Rebels. Could have so easily lost that forward. Michael Ruru now dictating play from the back of the ruck. Taken into contact well by Andrew Tuala. Ruru again gets a good platform. Lovely step by Taylor Adams. Ruru claiming there are hands on the ball from his former teammates. And then driving forward once more is Jeffries. Little pop pass, and Farmer Sicily takes it forward again. This is good play by the Rebels. Ruru goes to the boot. Little grubber, it'll go into touch.
So the Western Force have got Samoan international George Peacey on their sideline.
Will you have a wide
Billy Meeks is playing really well out there. Do you think it's a time for a change? Timmy Sampson, get George out there and put a bit of pressure on him?
Well, you'd have thought that would be a logical lineup against him, and at least put pressure on Meeks, because, as you say, Scott Meeks to me has been given a little bit of space and room to move.
The shoulder again.
He's such a talented individual, has got great awareness on his feet, but his offloading, I think he's got about 4 or 5 tonight already. So, you know, and that one, the little flick in behind, straight to Henry Hutchison in these conditions, he's not doing too bad. He's got a bit of confidence now.
It's going to be interesting now, the battle between Michael Ruru and Ian Pryor. I think that's going to be another one just to add to the mix.
Yeah, well, Pryor's already got a bloody nose, so maybe he's going to contribute to a bit more.
Force line out as the rain comes teeming down once more. Didn't look particularly straight. Advantage gone to the Rebels, but they picked up at the back. Ruru again burrows for the ball. Little short pass. And again, the Rebels just pick and drive as they go forward. Taken forward by Hardwick. Hardwick's had a good game for the Rebels in the back row. Now, that might be stolen by the Force.
He's knocked out here. This is not good for Richard Hardwick. You can see him go limp once he hit the ground.
Well, good to see moves his legs, so that's one comforting thing. But the referee, credit to him and the players, realised straight away, Scott Favour, that he was in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, indeed. The medical staff were out there quick, which is great. We've seen just recent times, the Commonwealth Games, where the Scottish athlete in the marathon, and took the medico so long to get out there when he was out on his feet. But you know, our guys were out there 2 seconds. It was great.
I remember you in the Commonwealth Games as well. I think everyone can remember that one.
I was waiting for that one. Yes. I don't remember a thing. I woke up the next morning and I thought, oh no, what did I do that night? And then I pulled up the sheets and there's my shorts still on. I'm going, okay, there's a bit of an incident on the field. So yeah, I had no memory, nothing at all.
Have you watched it since or not?
Yeah, I got one glimpse in because it was the Commonwealth Games. I was at home sitting down watching it, and Channel 9 decided to replay it for me. So I was going, yeah, thanks for that.
Must be not that nice watching something like that again.
Oh no, it's not. Like, you know, any head injury, anything that you know, relates to that area or the neck, you know, it's not about people's careers, it's about people's lives, and you know, the adverse effects of concussion have been, at this day and age, been widely researched and talked about. And you know, we want to make sure that these kids, you know, when they retire, they're not having those adverse effects for them. Because I've seen a lot of players that have played with and against that have, you know, headaches taken hold.
And that's great to see Richard Hardwick there with a hand in the air, because that's applauding the crowd who are applauding him, not just for going as hard as that. Look at that. That is just elite level sport, isn't it? But the time that he had put in here at the Western Force, it was billed in some quarters as a battle of the arch rivals, a grudge match. They've certainly gone hard. The emotions have been high, but played in a really competitive spirit. And best of all, actually, I think the crowd have played it in that way too. They've been behind both teams, enjoyed just great rugby that we've seen.
I think it was summed up best when someone said this week it was the former heroes against the new heroes. That's what this game's been about. Obviously, a lot of Force fans sad to see their heroes of last season leave the club, but still feel a strong attachment and feel that they wouldn't have left had the Force remained in Super Rugby. But now they're in World Series Rugby, and it's a game that's being played a little bit differently, plenty of flair, and we've got to say that the Rebels have played their part tonight as well. As Michael Ruru just kicks for the corner, and it will be a line out to the Rebels.
Michael Ruru, one of the players that came together for what was in essence a media opportunity between the former Force boys and the current boys, but the friendship was really there. They are mates.
Good clean ball in the line out as they look to drive towards the Force line. It goes to ground. Referee has his arm out. Ruru spins it. Taylor Adams, well, he came off the boot all wrong. Brilliantly gathered by Henry Hutchinson, who's had a really good game out wide for the Rebels.
Tackles completed, no advantage.
Yeah, they've used that a couple of times, 3 times now. It's to Hutchinson across field, but that wasn't executed very well.
Collapsing.
Just slipped out of his hands and then went off the boot completely wrong, as Ruru again is just going to go for touch, just dinks it into touch.
And continues to tumble down. I don't think we're going to see the first 7-point try tonight. You can't hang on to it, let alone run the length of the field at the same time. So tough the conditions, but as we talked about, still plenty of time remaining. And this has been an interesting period for the Western Force, where they've been able to suck it in and try to get that ball back and really go on an all-out attack in a moment.
Rebels again with good handling in the line-out, but it's the Force this time forcing them backwards. Really strong effort from Vanzati. He's on the ground again. Need to watch it. Looking for the quick kick is Ruru.
Captain.
I'm not surprised that a word is going to be had with the captain for collapsing 2 mauls.
Infringement at the hit. Third infringement in the maul, 2 collapses and 1 side entry there and collapsing. Creed was 18. So one more defensive maul infringement, the goal will go to the bin. Clear? Thank you.
Okay, there you go. As simple as that. And skipper, does he always go back and tell the team exactly what the ref said, or sometimes he just said, let's just keep doing what we're doing, boys?
100% every time.
Said with a massive smile on his face.
Oh, you get the gist. You get the gist of what the referee's trying to say. So you get it. You hit it on the head, and you know what to do next. Basically, you're going to get the cheese if you get any discretion again. So I think everyone's on notice.
On the card. Substitution.
Rene Masasili giving way.
So substitutions all round. I think George Peacey has come on as well for the Force, Ash, unless he came on previously, but he's out there now on debut.
Scott Faber, but the Rebels driving towards the line. They're not far away. The Force, though, still managing to defend. There's a little bit going on with Brian Stander off the ball. Got to hold him up. They're over the line. There's appeals for a try. I think the Force player was underneath. Looked as if it was Tuala who had the ball in his hands.
Well, on-field decisions are held up, so... They're asking the question out there. Have a look.
Well, good to hear the referee, Will Houston, said I had a far better angle. He could see it clearly. It's interesting, Mark, you talk about the power try, and a rugby fan came up to me after the opening game against Fiji. Charlie Morn was his name, and he said what he would like to see at this point in the game. Why can't it be, if you get a penalty, it should still be a power try?
Yep.
Because if you're trailing by 7 points, you're going to want to run it, and you could get the 9 points. And I thought that was actually a really good idea, and maybe something to consider for the future.
The other one that Kieran Longbottom come up with is you get to pick out 2 players of the opposition team that sit out for the next power try.
Billy Meeks drops the ball and gets a Bronx cheer from
there
the
he is,
crowd.
George Peacey. Bang.
And that's exactly what you were saying, Scott Faber. Comes out wide, Banzati into contact, up to the 22 by the force. Green lights are flashing on the post. The power try is on, but it's going to be a really tough one in conditions such as this. Stander again goes into contact. Pryor, and it's driven into by George Peacey. Pryor goes to the boot. Nobody grabbing it in the air for the Rebels, but they get it as it bounces.
Okay, green light was flashing. Referee had something to say. No, back again.
Use it. Blue 18 offside. Advantage number? 18. Blue 18 offside.
Should be going red now because the Rebels have possession.
Offside.
The player penalised was Tom Sheminant for offside. There he is, getting to his feet now.
The crowd were under it. At the excitement level, you could feel it here in NIB Stadium. They've forgotten about the rain. They forgot about that a long time ago. In a moment, we'll get down to Danny Orlando, who has Heath Testman with her. In fact, this ball's about to go sailing out, isn't it, Scotty? So let's do that now. Danny, over to you.
Heath, now the first half, it's been a highly emotional game, hasn't it? What's it like from your point of view right now and how the boys stand out there?
Without going to the cliches too hard, it's a real arm wrestle now. The Rebels had a little bit of momentum there, but we've really fought hard in our own defensive end and managed to swing it back our way a little bit. So hopefully we can convert some of the pressure we've just put up with and get back down the Rebels' end into a scoring opportunity.
George Peacey's just gone out. It's his debut match for the Force. What would those guys be feeling? You're a veteran now. You've been around for a long time. What would they be feeling?
Yeah, I mean, and George is a bit of a veteran as well. He's played a lot of footy in the Northern Hemisphere, but I mean, you get the butterflies every time. It's your first time putting on a new jersey, and he's pretty excited. It's been a long time coming for him here. He's a real leader in our group, and we can't wait to see what he does. This is the kind of footy he loves playing in the wet.
There's still a bit of time left, so good luck to the boys, and hopefully we can turn it around.
Thanks very much. We're good here.
How good's that? You can't be doing an interview in a raincoat, Scotty. You better have a talk to him about that. He's got to lose his members' ticket to the Players Association for that business.
Yeah, well, mate, the other thing is they won't allow umbrellas into the stadium, so he has to see him.
It's only water.
Oh, true.
Fair dinkum.
George Peacey just getting a little bit of treatment at the moment. He was the man, I think, who went into that really strong tackle that put the pressure on the Rebels.
He almost looked like Obi-Wan, didn't he?
Well, you got someone down behind you, a blue player.
He's wearing number 2.
Time off.
You have a lot to say to the refs.
Something about
you will give me a penalty.
Sean Fitzpatrick was very good at it. Probably the best.
Yes. Up there, Phil Kearns. You could say a bit too.
Hang on. Take him off, okay?
Well, that's not a great debut. It sounds as if the referee wants George Peacey taken from the field.
As soon as the contest is finished, like that, that's why I was there. If you want to, or you're saying, do you want to come through there? Mate, you go under the guy and you try and forklift. Yeah,
just looks like
push him back.
His shoulder, Scott. You think?
I think it's up, by the way, just taking the opportunity to ask, you've called me on this, how do I do it? You're in charge, tell me what you think. So apologies, I did have to take the cans off to go outside for a short moment. Did you talk up George Peacey's debut and then I come in a bit late to the party? It's a big, as you say, it's a big moment. The boys were really pumped for him, weren't they, that he was in?
It was more the fact that Billy Meeks has been having a really great game, and with that, a couple half line breaks, offloads, he's really been penetrating the Western Force line, and to get someone like George on the field, I think was a matter of a necessity. But look at him coming off the field now. This is tough.
So George Peacey with the arm in the sling as he comes off. It's hard to judge from here, but you don't like to see that, do you?
Oh, particularly a cheap debut for the club. And you've put all the hard work in to get on the field, and then within 5 minutes he's off.
Yeah.
Well, another man just making his debut running on his Isaac finds Liliwasa.
Oh, he's in serious pain.
Liliwasa is a 22-year-old scrum half, part of the Junior Wallabies at the Youth Olympics. Came in as a replacement for Ryan Lawrence, who was released from his contract at the Force. And straight away into the action he is. Pryor hammered. Deegan's just moved out into the centres, and the pass was behind his teammate, but picked up well, and great running from Clay Ewan. Finds Liliwasa. Again, good ball from him. And that was strong play coming from Chris Alcock, just brushing two of the defenders aside. Loving to take it into contact is Fergus Lee Warner as well. Tried to his name already. Can the Force find another one? They're running out of time. Oh dear, Lacey just let it slip through his palms and into touch.
In front of the mark.
And going down like 9 pins all of a sudden, way off the ball. And we've got a man down for the Rebels, Angus Cottrell, but I think he was just stretching the hammy ash. He went down like he'd been shot a mile from the play, but he's okay, he's back up, and he'll be in there. Gee, it's been a tough contest, hasn't it? And it's not over yet.
It has indeed. I mean, there's certainly been no quarter given by any of the players. They've really taken it to each other and given us a great game to watch. I'm sure all those fans who have braved the weather tonight, they will go home. They may be disappointed if the Force don't get the victory, but they will have been entertained as the Rebels come forward once more. Oh, another strong tackle. That took the wind out of me. Ruru, lovely hands, lovely offload, and bursting forward through the gap is Nick Champion de Crespinet. Henry Hutchinson, he deserves a try. He's going to be held up just short of the line, almost dragged over. Ruru goes for a little dart round the blind side. Was held up, and it is going to be a try. It'll be Tuala who claims the points for the Rebels. Tuala picking off the back of the ruck and just driving over into space.
Thank you.
26-12, Scotty favourite. We've been in this position a little bit early. It looked like it might open up a little bit, but Force were able to work back to the Rebels. They just haven't stopped. They've just continued to work so hard, and they've made substitutions, and plenty of them. The players they brought on have been right up to it. We're going to try to get down to see Michael Ruru in just a moment. So stand by, Sam. We're about to go to you. Boundary side, Sam, now.
So it's pretty wet out there. The ball's getting slippery. It doesn't seem to be a problem for you guys. You used to training in this kind of weather?
No, mate, Melbourne's fine. It's 40 degrees over there at the moment. So the weather's great.
So you're expecting a few more?
Well, hopefully.
Let's see how we go.
Well, the conversion came while the boys were getting themselves set again. And will there be a few more? 67, make it 68 minutes gone. There might be a margin on the scoreboard now, 26-12. It's a large one, but they continue to go as hard as each other.
Well, it's going to be tight here for the Force. Excuse me. You've got Pryor now going in at number 10. You've got Deegan pushing out to outside centre. So for them, their continuity is going to be a bit mismatched. So they've got to make sure they do the right things with the ball in hand, put themselves in really good positions. That's what the Rebels are doing. They're making sure they're playing tight, and those little inside balls to Hutchinson made the inroads and contribute to that try.
Might have an injury update now, I think, for George Peacey. Danny Orlando.
Yeah, devastating news for George. You know, debuted tonight, and as you saw before, he did hurt his shoulder. The team doctor has confirmed he's dislocated. He's gone down into the room, so we should have a proper update and more clarity on exactly what the injury is shortly.
Okay, thanks, Dan. They can be long-term injuries at times, or you can be lucky, but that didn't look nice.
He's showing some dominance there with his hits. That's what we wanted from him. Yep. Come in and make an impact. And every hit he put on, I think the Melbourne Rebels guys felt it. And that was a good thing. Pity it lasted only 4 minutes.
What you've got to hope, I think, is that maybe it's a subluxation where it goes straight back in, because that will mean he's not out for quite as long as if it's a full dislocation, as finds Liliwasa just lost the ball forward as he was trying to make a sniping run.
Well, he's in good hands out there. Robbie Naish, it's great to see him back too. Another guy that's got passion for the Western Force. He was around at the start, 2006.
Yep, with you.
Yep. And has done a great job with the boys. And as soon as World Series Rugby was on, they knocked on Hodjo's door and said, "Yep, let me come back in," which is awesome.
Fantastic.
We're into the final 10 minutes of this match. The Western Force are going to need something special if they're going to close the gap or even get close to snatching a victory. Maybe a power try, but they're at the wrong end of the pitch at the moment to do that. However, they have won a penalty, and look what it means. Still, they're fighting to the very end.
Very much so. We want to see the Force. We want to see this sea of blue get up off their seats. So let's will them on and get a try. Come on, guys.
16. Collapsing.
Tom Sheminant was the man who was getting all the applause from his players.
The skipper just going through his mind right now.
I think he's given the forwards this opportunity.
Yep.
They're in close. He's sitting in there at 10. Do you think he wants the ball and start playing out wide? I don't think so.
Folletti, Kaitu'u with the throw. It's grabbed by the Force. Now they've got a chance to maul. The Rebels have taken it to ground. It's made available. Pick and drive, but held up again by good Rebels defence.
Offside, 19 white.
Rebels were offside according to the referee, so an advantage at the moment for the Force.
Leave it!
They're getting closer to the line. Hans Liliwasa fed the ball out prior. Well, that's ambitious. Got to make sure they grab it, and it's going to go back though, of course.
How long can the advantage go on for?
Well, it's really up to the referee.
Right.
He might see it that there is a play that's just been had.
Yep.
That gives the opposition team a bit of an advantage, and he'll go play on. But sometimes he'll go 3 or 4 phases. So some referees in Australian or World Rugby are quite different, and you've got to play to the referee. You've got to know what the referee does and how he likes to play advantage, because that's a crucial part of your planning coming into the game.
It was a risk worth taking by Prague, because if it had come off, they had 2 players on 1 out wide and still had the penalty up their sleeve.
Well, that's right. Give the forwards a bit of a break too, hey?
You never change.
Yep.
I think the backs were getting tired.
Oh, the glory of the high catch and into the corner.
No matter when or where the try, they'll never celebrate it like yours, Scotty. First try ever for the Western Force back in 2006. Despite the sideburns.
Down on your side.
I'll come back, mate.
No.
Bring him back.
Both sides just hard to will, get them up.
So again, this is where World Series Rugby is trying to make a difference.
Okay, so in this position, if the Force decide to do a pushover, okay, so we're working towards the line, the ball's at the back, the number 8's controlling it, and we've got the 1 minute in play. What happens if that 1 minute's gone and they're just before they're about to pick up the ball to score the try? Does he call it up or does he give advantage?
Well, my understanding is he let the play go, because
once the move begins.
Once it started.
Okay.
That's the choice. So
There's too much movement from both sides, okay? Hit and hold.
Yep, so again, this is where some people would say that, no, not another opportunity, that's it, just call it.
This should be the last one, in my opinion.
The crowd really getting into this one. 6 minutes to go, so close to the line. Big numbers again, 13,907 here at NIB Stadium. Can they lift this ball over the line?
New advantage, 22, offside.
Oh, is it going to be a
he's going
card?
for it.
Yep.
There it is.
Michael Ruru. And the crowd will enjoy that one.
Oh, he's got a smile on his face.
Scrum.
Well, that's him
Back
for the night.
Again.
Yep.
Back in the showers.
Maybe he just wanted to shower on his own in the hot water all to himself.
He might know there's not a lot of water. Spent just the 1 year with the Force last year, of course, before departing with the Rebels. He's departed the game, and maybe now is the time for that chant. With a numerical advantage, the numbers don't look good on that scoreboard, 28-12. Well, not for the Force, they do for the Rebels, and we're seeing their experience that we have in the last 2 or 3 minutes here, milking the clock.
Well, that's right. They're looking at this on the left-hand side now, and no, they're going right.
Oh, dear.
Ball pass.
Deegan has to go to Grant. It's a good pickup by him. Takes 2 Rebels players. Ball spills forward. Kicked forward by the Rebels.
Offside.
And then picked up in an offside position. So Force should take it quickly, which they do. 5 metres short of the line. It's another pickup and a good one coming from Tom Sheminan, the former Netherlands player, who's really said the Force being resurrected and playing in World Series Rugby has kept his dream alive. Pryor again kicks wide, and it's gone off play.
Yeah, poor decision.
The bounce. You didn't like that one?
Oh, the last 2 tries, they've gone up the middle, they've used their forwards, and they've been able to use the big fellas to get over the line, and just to go for that glory kick again. Yeah.
And Pryor under a little bit of pressure now.
Play to your strengths.
Force having to play out from their own 22. Henry Taifu taken to Grant.
With 7-point tries on now.
It is indeed. The light should be flashing because they were inside their 22. It was the 22 dropout that went the length of the pitch. Rod Davies looking to accelerate. Little pass from him. Chance now. Clay Ewan cuts infield, taken to ground on the 10-metre line. Force need numbers there. Rebels were there first, but and the Force got the play. Sheminan Force back, strong tackle coming in. The substitute player, Nick Champion de Crespinet. Dummy rather thrown by Deegan, and then he was taken to ground. Oh dear.
Advantage.
And Fergus Lee Warner just taking his eyes off the ball and gives possession back to the Rebels. Here they come again. Oh, that looked a little bit high.
Oh, Chris Rockhart's on that.
In trouble.
6.
Well, it's going to be flat now, hasn't it? They had that opportunity. And it would have been great for them to work all the way up the field, get into that position of scoring the first 7-point try in World Series Rugby. And I think the crowd were waiting for it as well. But once again, just those execution skills, straight off the halfback, watching the opposition and dropping it cold.
We're going to keep playing.
I like that. We can hear from Will Houston there. We're going to keep playing. There are 2 players down for the Rebels. One with cramp. That might be Angus Cottrell again, is it? Who went down a little while ago. And one just behind him. But the ref says, no, come on, keep going. Let's keep this happening. And that forces the players to get up or get off.
Certainly in all sports, I feel you shouldn't be stopping for cramp.
Nope.
No.
Yes.
You've got to drink a Gatorade before the match, mate.
Absolutely. It's part of your player conditioning, isn't it? You know, you've got to get it right, or the staff have got to get it right.
There's been a good display from the Rebels, and they haven't, you know, they've got, was it 9? It might have ended up 10, didn't it? 10 players in the Wallabies squad with the late change, Jeremy Ainsley joining in. They've been tested, their depth, and they're up for it.
Keep it up.
And here they come again. They're looking for their 5th try
That's a one
of the night.
That's a one.
And they're not far away. It's Brian Anstander with his hands on the ball.
Backwards, play
bogs out, and here is a chance now for the Force to break forward, but it was not a good pass from Clay Ewan. Ran the feet of Lele Wassa.
Now the power try's on here.
Sheminan. And here's a chance. The crowd getting behind the Force. Hutchinson misses the tackle. It's taken by Rod Davies. Davies tries a little goose step. On the outside is Deegan. Deegan cuts infield, thrown to the ground, makes the ball available. Stanage.
Let it play, Will.
Slowing the ball down deliberately. Bryant Stander tried to step off his left foot, but was closed. Looked as if that was lost forward. In fact, I think the touch judges advised the referee that that was the case, and that was certainly a knock forward.
And off the ball, Brad Lacey was taken down in a big hit a little while ago. He was called Lazarus Lacey by Buddha Hanley last week. Well, he rose from the dead, but he had to go back down again. He was really concussed. He was seriously hurt, but got up and wanted to play on, wanted to help his team. But that's the medico's out there quickly to say, hang on, let's just slow down. That was a big hit, and he's been hurt off the field, off the ball, back in the middle, and the ref heading that way now. So late in the match, the clock stops, but you could basketball-like just walk off and leave this, I think, and call it a draw. So we hope that Brad's okay. He did get back up again, and then the medicos were out there quickly.
Yeah, Danny Price just come across and give him a tap on the leg. So there's support there for him, but it's tough. You hate to see anyone going down.
And he certainly looked to be in a little bit of trouble, actually.
Indeed.
So Lacey gets some treatment in the middle. 28-12 margin for the Rebels, 16 points, and that's probably fair. That's about the way the game's been played. In just a little while from now, these players will be quick to get to each other, I'm sure. Let's have a look at the replay. So here's Lacey almost in the middle, and it was an inadvertent knock to the knee. I think his head into the knee, and that's what did the damage.
He was falling into that tackle, which was hard because, as you see, he slips here.
And we see it one more time, perhaps a better angle here. It came in. That's got to hurt. While we wait for Brad to get himself sorted, we'll take a quick break.
You know what the protocol is.
28-12, Melbourne.
Thank you, Andrew.
Lead.
So let me explain it while we walk back. Under the protocol for here, I can't have that checked, okay? Yeah, that probably is something I've missed. I've missed it. That's what I can't card that retrospectively, sorry. Time back on.
.28-12, Brad Lacey leaves the field under his own steam. That's excellent news. This game about to come to an end.
It is indeed, as the Force look for a consolation try right at the death of this game. It has been World Series Rugby against Super Rugby, and World Series Rugby have shown that they are up to the challenge, and they've really battled hard against a team that has been playing for a lot longer.
Full time.
And that is the final whistle, and it is victory to the Melbourne Rebels, and it's going to continue the way it started with a little bit of push and shove. But it is the Western Force 12, the Melbourne Rebels 28.
Let's go down right now to Danny Orlando, out amongst it all. Dan.
Congratulations, Matt, on the win. Now, this week must have been pretty exciting as well to be back here in the Force field up against your old mates.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely brought some memories, especially in the captain's run last night, coming back to NIB Stadium. Unreal. I really enjoyed being back here. It's good to see that rugby in Perth is still alive and well.
You got a couple of stitches in your head there, so no denying that you were a part of all the biff tonight. We saw you. Did you have a few words to exchange with the boys?
It was all in good fun. You know, they threw everything but the kitchen sink at us tonight, so it was all in good fun. We'll catch up after the game and, you know, have a good laugh together. But yeah, it was good. It was a good atmosphere out there.
Awesome. Now enjoy celebrating with the boys, and over to Sam Longley now.
So, Peter, not the result you would have hoped for, but you've got to be happy with 13,000 people coming down to wish you well.
No, certainly. I mean, considering the conditions today, it was a good turnout, and I think the boys threw the ball around as well. So, considering the wet weather, and so I'm sure we gave them something worthwhile to come watch.
Yeah, about the wet weather, was it a bit too slippery out there? Is it not something you're used to?
Oh, certainly. I mean, obviously we're used to it here in the winter and in the west. So I mean, we train in these conditions quite a bit, and I thought the guys handled it pretty well. I mean, there's always going to be knock balls in the rain. So I mean, I thought we handled it pretty well though.
Yeah, fantastic. Anyway, good luck with the rest of the season. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, thanks very much.
There we are, Peter Grant and Matt Phillip there after a game, an excellent game. Gee, it was tough, there's no doubt about that. That ends with the Melbourne Rebels, the victors, by 16, 28 to 12. Scotty and Ash, a final word from you on, I loved exactly what you said. It was World Series Rugby against Super Rugby. We've got a good look at the way they go about it, but not in the perfect conditions for the faster game.
No, it certainly wasn't. I think it was very tough conditions, and certainly the Force fans deserve a lot of credit turning out on such a wild and woolly night. But they were entertained, and both teams gave us a really good night's rugby. It was fierce, it was strong. We saw good elements, I'm sure you'd agree, Scott Faber, from the forwards and also the backs. Probably the Rebels' backs were the difference between the two teams.
We always saw that from the start. You know, Iona, Marcel, they were off on representative duties. It just left a real hole in that centre area, and we knew that before the game, that the combinations there for the Force needed to start strong. But when you got Bill Meeks and you got Tom English and Debrasini at the back there, that's that class. We're able to get in behind and use the ball, a few offloads, and just give momentum to the Rebels, and they took their opportunities when they needed to. From the Force's point of view, those guys stood up. And the forwards in particular, not so much the scrum, because we gave probably a bit too many penalties away in the discipline there, but I think it was the forwards that led the way.
Scotty Faber, great to have you with us tonight. Great to have you back in Perth, mate, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Should be great, boys.
So there you go. We talked about it being mate versus mate, and there it is for you in living colour. That was then, this is now. World Series Rugby steps up yet another gear in a couple of weeks. The all-conquering Kiwis come to Perth. The Crusaders versus the Western Force. Friday night, June 22. You will want to tune in for that. I promise you. Do not miss it. But for now, it was the Melbourne Rebels 28 over the Western Force 12 by 16. All the best, and bye for now.